What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Twan here from Twan Sports Rants and Reacts. I got a new video format for y'all, right? And it's called Your Hot Takes, Not Mine. Now, I've seen other YouTube creators use the same format, and I thought it was pretty interesting. And I think it's something for everybody to chime in. So, this is a format of which I react to hot takes from Twitter and other social medias. And I give my response to it. That being said, after this video, I would like for everybody to like, comment, subscribe. And when you do comment, give me some of your hot takes. And if they seem very interesting, I'll react to them in my next formatted video just like this. That being said, let's get into the video.
Dude. Wait till you see the... No.
Alright, let's start with the man of the hour himself, Dennis Schroeder. Now, I like Dennis Schroeder, and I think that Dennis Schroeder is a very talented point guard that really just got in over his head in his free agency. That being said, you know the details. He had an $84 million contract extension from the Lakers he could have taken, but he wanted to test the market to see if he can get $100 million from either the Lakers or somewhere else. Now, I'm gonna say this. I think this was more of a divisive strategy to get away from the Lakers because he knew he wasn't going to get $100 million from the Lakers. But for the same reason he wasn't going to get $100 million from the Lakers was the same reason he wasn't going to get $100 million from any other team. And he bet on himself and he lost. Now, I'm all for betting on yourself, but I'm also for being self-aware, being able to read the room. You cannot play as bad as you played in the playoffs like Dennis Schroeder did and come out and ask for $100 million. Now, this wasn't exactly a hot take, but this is more so, I mean, it could be a hot take. Would you give Dennis Schroeder $100 million?
No.
Would you give Dennis Schroeder $100 million after a playoffs like that?
No.
I mean, what backup point guard would you ever give $100 million to? I think the only backup point guard you can really think of is Lou Williams. What I'm saying here is that Dennis Schroeder had his best stats across the board in OKC, and if he didn't have another year, if he had another year like that on the Lakers, then I can see him asking for $100 million. But even so, that is a stretch. That being said,
congratulations, you played yourself.
Now let's get into hot take 2, and this comes from Charles Barkley burner account. Y'all be trolling with these Twitter names, by the way. And this hot take reads: the NBA bubble is the best thing to happen for the NBA and its fans in the past 5 years. Now, I understand the hot take, and I see the pros and I see the cons of this hot take. The pros is for health and safety protocol. It also made it feel like a AAU tournament, and AAU tournaments can be very intense if you ever hooped before, especially when you're 17 and you go up against a 34-year-old. But that's beside the point. And it gave a focus to it that everyone just was in the same environment, and it felt like a tuning exam. But yeah, it was very good for the focus of the playoffs. It put people in the mindset where, you know, they can focus on basketball 24/7. I feel like Kobe Bryant would have loved this. But the cons to it is, for everyone that didn't love it, they hated it. They hated being away from their fans. They hated to be away from their family. And that can be an energy plug for most people who thrive off of home court advantage. It also was bad for the fact that it creates another narrative. How many times do we see bubble ring, Mickey Mouse ring come out of Skip Bayless's mouth when the Lakers won and LeBron got his 4th championship? That being said, the narrative that it creates, I think the hot take is good, but I think the negatives that come out of the bubble outweighed the positive that came out of the bubble. Okay, hot take 3. comes from Zach Haggy, and his hot take reads, Kevin Durant doesn't win another NBA Finals in his career. Nah, I wouldn't say all that, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest here. I was so happy when the Bucks won because the Nets didn't win, because the Nets have a team that, if healthy, there's not much you can do with that besides the Lakers building their super team in the West. That being said, if the Nets are healthy next year, they're coming out of the East. I understand Giannis had a great year, but it's really hard to beat 3 25-plus scores in a game, especially when Kevin Durant is one of the most efficient, high-volume shooters of all time. Yeah, nah, I wouldn't say all that. I think he has another one in him. The only thing is that with those super teams, with him being a part of a super team, is that it kind of takes away from the legitimacy of the ring. Yes, it's legitimate, but the best thing about rings is the adversity that you take on when winning that ring. There's no adversity when you're the first or second best player and your team has 2 of the top 10 players in the league, or top 15, however you want to take it. So I wouldn't say that he doesn't get another ring, but if he's a part of the Brooklyn Nets with the super team that they have, he's going to feel the same way he felt on the Warriors when they won their super team ring. Okay, hot take number 4 comes from Jonathan. And his hot take reads, I think Mannion is going to be a good NBA player in like 2 years. And he's talking about Nico Mannion, I think. And Nico Mannion, with his development on the Warriors, I don't see him developing that well on the Warriors unless he goes to another team where he can be a starter. And I like Nico Mannion, but I don't know if his skill set right now or in the next 2 years is going to be really, really good because of how undersized he is. He's a okay shooter, and his decision making, I don't know. I do think you need to go to a smaller market team that's not trying to compete for a championship to get your development, and then go to a bigger market team to be a contender. That being said, I think his development is not going to be that great if he does stay on the Warriors, because I don't think De'Aaron Fox would have developed as fast as he did if he went to the Lakers like Zoe did, because Zoe went to a team that wanted to win in right now, and he didn't get better until he went to the Pelicans. That being said, if he stays, Nico Mannion stays on the Warriors, he could develop. It's still a possibility, but I don't see it happening because they want to contend right now instead of develop their young core. So, okay. Now, this is the final take / tweet, because most of them came from Twitter, that we're going to react to. And this is my take on it, and it's from a take that George Karl had on Twitter about Carmelo. Now, the essential tweet of which he responded to, it said, this is one thing that I'm missing. This is the one thing that keeps me up at night, that motivates me because I don't have it. He's talking about a ring. George Karl, his response was, and it kept our coaching staff up at night a decade ago when we were stressing the importance of team defense. And it kept our coaching staff up at night a decade ago when we were stressing the importance of team play and defense. Now, he also went on to take more shots at Carmelo. But yeah, this is petty. This is this is petty. You know, it's out of line, but it's true. I agree with George Karl, but I don't agree with the timing of his response, because it's at a state where Carmelo is more than ever focused on the championship. He's taking his step back that the NBA kind of wanted him to take back in order for him to be on the NBA team, in which I don't agree with either. With a talent like Carmelo Anthony, he shouldn't have been blackballed to take a step back and have to beg his way back into the NBA. That being said, now that he's in there, he's accepted his role. And with him accepting his role, I think George Karl should just be happy for Melo. But because George Karl is known to be a spiteful ex-coach, he is very, very petty for this. But he's right. Melo, in the heat of the Denver Nuggets run, he could have been a better defender. He could have played more team-oriented basketball instead of his isolation basketball. But at the same time, George Karl is wrong, because there was no way they were still going to win a championship even if he did move the ball. Now, I get that Melo wasn't the most team-orientated, as Chauncey Billups has stated in the past, and other players, but they weren't getting past the Lakers, and they weren't getting past the San Antonio Spurs. And if they did, I don't think they would have won an NBA championship, considering the Boston Celtics were coming out the East. That being said,
He's out of line, but he's right.
Melo could have been better. It would have helped for his stats. It would have helped for his longevity, and he wouldn't have probably had to beg his way back into the NBA. But the timing of it is off and petty. That being said, this is the end of the video. Thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe. Please do comment, because I want more hot takes to respond to, and I will be searching for more hot takes on Twitter to respond to. That being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.